Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurun Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasa Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So we'll be starting the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita today. Text 1. Arjuna Uvacha Jayasi Chet Karmanaste Mata Buddhir Janardana Tatkim Karmani Gore Mam Niyojasi Keshava. Okay, translation. Arjuna said, "O Janardana, O Keshava, why do you want to engage me in this ghastly warfare if you think that intelligence is better than fruitive work?" Okay, so this question, how does it sound logically? So he is asking Krishna that why are you asking me to fight ghastly warfare if you think intelligence is better than fruitive work? So if intelligence is there, then you should. Then what is a problem in fighting if we are working on the platform of intelligence? So intelligence means jnana yoga. Jnana yoga means we have often discussed. Jnana yoga means the basic principle is that one has to take sannyas. One has to give up all the worldly duties and things like that. So that is when he can do jnana yoga. It is not jnana means some. I'm just going to study something and have some intellectual understanding of some things and things like that. No, it is not jnana. Jnana means somebody who has performed karma yoga for a good period of time, and then he has purified his senses. He has lost all desire to do anything material, and he wants to progress spiritually further. So such is called the path of intelligence or path of jnana. So it cannot be just equated to what we generally call as intelligence or buddhi and things like that. So that is completely different from this. So we tell that anybody who's good in maths, we tell, oh, he's very intelligent. Anybody who's good in art, no, we'll tell, no, he's so intelligent, so artistic, and things like that. Anybody who's good in speaking, we tell that, oh, he's very intelligent. So that is not the intelligence that is talked about here. No, here intelligence or jnana, especially the words that he is using is nyashishi chet karmanasthe mata buddhir janardana tatkim karmani gore mam niyojasi keshava. So here is using the word buddhi. So intelligence or knowledge means that one has come to the point of understanding know what is body and what is soul. No, that's the sign of intelligence. So not any other aspect of intelligence. No, so that is not considered. Actually, that is not considered to be intelligence. Okay, so, purport. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, has very elaborately described the constitution of the soul in previous chapter with a view to delivering his intimate friend Arjuna from the ocean of material grief. And the path of realization has been recommended, that is Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness. Sometimes Krishna consciousness is misunderstood to be inertia, and one with such a misunderstanding often withdraws to a secluded place to become fully Krishna conscious by chanting the holy name of Krishna. Just a minute, I'll just have this window closed. So here we see, um, yeah, sometimes Krishna consciousness is misunderstood to be inertia, and one with such a misunderstanding often withdraws to a secluded place to become fully Krishna conscious by chanting the holy name of Krishna. But without being trained in the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, it is not advisable to chant the holy names of Krishna in a secluded place where one may acquire only cheap adoration from the innocent public. Arjuna also thought of Krishna consciousness or Buddhi Yoga or intelligence and spiritual advancement of knowledge as something like retirement from active life and the practice of penance and austerity at a secluded place. In other words, he wanted to skillfully avoid fighting by using Krishna consciousness as an excuse. But as a sincere student, he placed the matter before his master and questioned Krishna as to his best course of action. In answer, Krishna elaborately explains Karma Yoga or work in Krishna consciousness in this third chapter. So this is a very nice thing. Generally, the aspect of inaction has to be applied to material things, not for spiritual things, and not for the prescribed duties, or not for things which are ideally that are meant to be done. No, so generally. That is a wrong application of the philosophy, or the wrong application of this one. So if you say that, no, it's just like saying, um, if a child is doing so much of ruckus, and if we tell that no, you should not do anything, simply sit quiet, and then the child is okay, no, this sitting quiet, and then after some time the parent comes and asks, why are you not studying? And the child will say, like, you only told no, simply sit quiet. So so that is why I'm not studying also. So it is another extreme, it is going to another extreme. So the inaction that has been recommended is for material things and not to control the spiritual things. And this is the general principle of all the rules and regulations. I think we had discussed this shloka sometime. This is Sarve Vidhi Nisheda Ashuretayo Revakinkara. Smartavyam Satatam Vishnu, Vismartavyam Na Jatuchit. So, Smartavyam means like to remember, Smartavyam Satatam Vishnu, Vismartavyam, that means never forget. No, never forget Vishnu at any point in time. And then Sarve Vidhi Nishedashur. So all the rules and regulations which are mentioned in the scriptures, Vidhi and Nisheda, no, do's and don'ts. So Sarve Vidhi Nishedashur, Etayor Eva Kinkara. This is the only principle for which all the rules and regulations are mentioned in the Vedic scriptures. What is that one principle? Always remember the Supreme Lord and never forget Him. Right? So that is the main thing. So it may appear like somebody may say, okay, no, should we chant the names of the Lord in an impure place? No, we are asked not to, in impure places we should not do spiritual activities. If we have to do a very a nice spiritual activity, then you have to be very, very pure. So when you are approaching the deity room in our home, so we should take bath and we should purify ourselves, and you should approach the Lord's place in such purity and things like that. So now I am going to attend nature's call. So at the time, can I chant the names of the Lord? It is very impure that place is. So the rule that is, if somebody says yeah, like no, somebody says yeah, we should do, and somebody says we should not. So then, what is the solution? So the solution is Smartavyam Satatam Vishnu Vismartavyam Najatuchit. Sarve Vidhi Nishedashur Etayor Evakinkara. So why we are asked to take bath and be clean and things like that when we are approaching the puja activities? So because our consciousness will be clean. If we are unclean, then we will be in the mode of ignorance, right? And we will not be able to do the seva nicely. So we should be clean, externally and internally. So that is when we will be able to do the devotional service properly, right? So all these things are there. And but then when I'm impure, so even then I should continue to chant, because I have to somehow or other remember Vishnu. So when a time is there to specifically remember Vishnu or do the seva of Vishnu, I should be clean and pure. And when a time where I'm not there in that kind of state, still I should remember Vishnu, right? So it is very important principle, right? So There is a joke also in this regard. So one time, a person asked a Christian priest that, can a smoker, can a person who is smoking, can he take the name of the Lord? And the priest told, yeah, of course, like you can take the name of the Lord all the time. So then this person went to the church having cigarette in his hand, and everybody told like, no, what are you doing? It's a holy place, you should not do like this. So then this person told, no, the priest told like, no, while smoking also you can, no, this one, you can take the name of the Lord, you can do worship. So that's why I came to church with this one, no cigarette in hand. So it is a, adverse application of the principle, right? So there is a place of worship for the Lord, so where we will be clean and pure. But even when we are impure, we should continue to chant. No, never we should give a stoppage for chanting, right? So that is how the principle is. And here we see that Arjuna is taking that adverse application, and he is taking that, no, you are telling to the Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness is good, and then I will go and do some penances and tapasya in the forest. Why should I fight this battle? So that is an adverse application. Here Krishna wants this battle. Here Krishna wants to establish dharma, and it is a service of Krishna, and that cannot be just given up just like that. It must be done. No, for Arjuna to fight here is a very, very important thing. Okay, so we will continue. So here Krishna is telling karma yoga principle. So this is one angle of explanation I gave. So another angle is also there that we will see in the slokas that comes. व्यामिश्रेणेव वाक्येन बुद्धिं मोहय मोहयशीव मे तद एकं वद निश्चित्य येन श्रेयोऽहमनु आपनुयाम्. My intelligence is bewildered by your equivocal instructions. Therefore, please tell me decisively which will be more beneficial for me. Purport. In the previous chapter, as a prelude to the Bhagavad Gita, many different paths were explained, such as Sankhya Yoga. So, when Krishna spoke about the difference between body and soul, and all those explanations which are given, so that is called Sankhya Yoga. And Buddhi Yoga, no, that is no, Krishna consciousness was also explained. And then control of the senses by intelligence, jnana yoga, and then work without fruitive desire, that is nishkama karma yoga, and the position of the neophyte. So many things were like explained in this one, and also the self-realized person also, like last section that we studied. So many different things were explained there. So this was all presented unsystematically. A more organized outline of the path would be necessary for action and understanding. Arjuna therefore wanted to clear up these apparently confusing matters so that any common man could accept them without misinterpretation. Although Krishna had no intention of confusing Arjuna by any jugglery of words, Arjuna could not follow the process of Krishna consciousness, either by inertia or by active service. In other words, by his questions, he is clearing the path of Krishna consciousness for all students who seriously want to understand the mystery of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, text 3. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Lokesmin Vivida Nishta Pura Prokta Mayanaga Jnana Yogena Sankhya Nam Karma Yogena Yoginam. So he's telling Lokesmin Vivida. There are two kinds of Nishta. There are two kinds of faithful people. So who are Jnana Yogena and Karma Yogena. Now there are two kinds of the two kinds of path is there, Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga, and people follow these different paths. And he's going to explain. Krishna is going to explain. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "O sinless Arjuna, I have already explained that there are two classes of men who try to realize the self. Some are inclined to understand it by empirical philosophical speculation, and other by devotional service." So here Prabhupada chooses to translate Karma Yoga as Bhakti Yoga. No, because to engage in Krishna's service, so he's taking this advantage to mention this as Bhakti Yoga, and he's going to explain this Karma Yoga as Bhakti Yoga. So there is no point in performing Karma Yoga in a stricter sense in Kali Yuga. So, and the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is devotional service, and Prabhupada takes that advantage to explain devotional service throughout the Bhagavad Gita. And that is to our good fortune, and that is to our what is that benefit, that we are getting the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita throughout the Bhagavad Gita. So in sixth chapter, after explaining all the different yogas, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, and like Ashtanga Yoga and every yoga, Krishna personally mentions that no, only by Bhakti Yoga, no, you will be able to attain me. And then Krishna deliberately spends 6 full chapters only on Bhakti Yoga. And then Krishna gives the final conclusion of Bhagavad Gita in Bhakti Yoga. So in this way, like definitely this one Bhagavad Gita is a book of Bhakti Yoga, though it may speak about other yoga systems. So it is a book of Bhakti Yoga, and to study this book in the light of Bhakti Yoga is like very amazing actually, and that's what we get from Srila Prabhupada's purports. So here we see that Prabhupada is taking that Karma Yoga to be a Bhakti Yoga. So that's nice. Anyway, we don't want to do Karma Yoga, so we want to do Bhakti Yoga only. So yeah, that's a benefit for us. Okay. So, purport. In the second chapter, verse 39, the Lord explains two kinds of procedures, namely Sankhya Yoga and Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga. In this verse, the Lord explains the same more clearly. Sankhya Yoga, or analytical study of nature of spirit and matter, is the subject matter for persons who are inclined to speculate and understand things by experimental knowledge and philosophy. The other class of men work in Krishna consciousness, as it is explained in the 61st verse of the second chapter. The Lord has explained also in the 39th verse, that by working by the principles of Buddhi Yoga or Krishna consciousness, one can be relieved from the bonds of action, and furthermore, there is no flaw in the process. The same principle is more clearly explained in the 61st verse, that this Buddhi Yoga is to depend entirely on the Supreme, or more specifically on Krishna. And in this way, all the senses can be brought under control very easily. So, this we studied in detail in the last chapter, how by applying ourselves on Krishna consciousness, especially the Ambrish Maharaj slokas we were studying, that Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayor, Vacham Shivai Kunta Gunanu Varnane, Karo Harer Mandiramarjana Adishu, Shrutim Chakara Achyuta Satkatodaye. So, like this, Ambrish Maharaj was using his hands, his power of speech, his ears, and everything. He was using it in service of Krishna very nicely. So by doing that, he could able to conquer the senses, and he could even able to conquer the Supreme Lord. That is how powerful the Ambrish had become. So when he was attacked by Durvasa Muni, so Ambrish did not do anything. Lord Sudarshan Chakra automatically came, and then it just took care of the enemy of Ambrish. Right. So it is very important that by Krishna consciousness, we just not only win over our senses, but then we become so powerful that we even control the Supreme Lord. That is how this Krishna consciousness is very powerful, right? So that we studied that how by applying our senses in Krishna's service, we will be able to control them. So, therefore, both the yogas are interdependent as religion and philosophy. Religion without philosophy is sentiment or sometimes fanaticism, while philosophy without religion is mental speculation. It's a very nice, this one Prabhupada is mentioning here. So, both yogas are interdependent. Religion without philosophy um, means if we are doing only rituals without understanding the purpose behind them, so then it is just a sentiment. And then if we are only talking about theoretical aspects and things like that, practically we are not doing anything. So that becomes a mental exercise, and we just studying and analyzing and things like that, practically we are not doing anything. So then it becomes mental speculation. The ultimate goal is Krishna, because the philosophers who are also sincerely searching after the absolute truth come in the end to Krishna consciousness. This is also stated in Bhagavad Gita. The whole process is to understand the real position of the self in relation to the super self. The indirect process is philosophical speculation by which gradually one may come to the point of Krishna consciousness. And the other process is directly connecting everything with Krishna and Krishna consciousness. Of these two paths, the path of Krishna consciousness is better because it does not depend on purifying the senses by a philosophical process. Krishna consciousness is itself the purifying process, and by the direct method of devotional service, it is simultaneously easy and sublime. So, here, just to understand the purport more clearly, we'll just see a little bit of aspects here that you know the aspect of the karma yoga and jnana yoga and bhakti yoga and all these things. So these different yogas we had in the past also we had discussed about this. So in a stricter sense, in the stricter Vedic sense, karma yoga means those people who are attached to the worldly things, but then they are given rules and regulations based on scriptures, know how to enjoy by performing yajna, by performing sacrifices and things like that, so to please the supreme lord, and at the same time, no, I am taking my share of sense gratification. No, that is like legal way of enjoying the world. And then jnana yoga means to come to the point of understanding, okay, so I am just trying to enjoy this world, but then I have to get out of this world. No, that's the actual process. That's the actual goal of life. No, just trying to be a good prisoner in the prison house is not the goal. No, to get out of the prison is the goal. So karma yoga means this is a very, very nice, obedient, nice prisoner, in the prison house. So, and he gets all the facilities in the prison and things like that. So then the next point of his advancement is to understand, okay, is enough. I have to get out of this prison house, right? So I have to get out of this place. So that is the jnana yoga. So where he is thinking that enough of this material activities and things like that. So I don't want to be comfortable in this world. I don't want to enjoy this world. Basically, this world is a temporary place, and in this life I may be enjoying, but what's the guarantee of the next life? No, there is no guarantee. So I should prepare for a higher destination. So he stops performing all material activities, and that is jnana yoga. And then Krishna consciousness means to be engaged in the spiritual activities directly in the service of the Lord. Because if you go back to the spiritual world, what you will be doing is devotional service. And in Krishna consciousness, a person directly takes up to Krishna, the devotional service of the Lord. And once he is nicely trained in the devotional service of the Lord and his senses are fully tuned for devotional service of the Lord, immediately what happens is he becomes completely free, from the material bondage. And it is almost like he is already transferred to the spiritual world. If somebody is like nicely engaged in the service of the Lord, it's almost he is already gone to Vaikuntha. There is physical transfer is pending, but consciousness level is already in Vaikuntha. So that's the this one. So that is the process of Krishna consciousness. So Krishna consciousness is not trying to negate the material activities. It is rather trying to engage in the positive spiritual activities directly, right? So in that way, automatically the not doing the material activities is indirectly achieved. No separate endeavor is put on that. Okay. Text 4. न कर्मणाम् अनारम्भान् नैष्कर्म्यं पुरुषो स्नुते न च सन्न्यासनादेव siddhim samadhigacchati. So as we had discussed that originally the question that Arjuna asked was about jnana yoga and karma yoga. So which one should I do? So then or basically jnana yoga means taking sannyas. So and Krishna is just telling here that it is not very good for you to take sannyas now, because your mind is not that stable to do that task. So who can take sannyas? A person who has lost all the desire to enjoy the fruits of his action, and to enjoy this world, no, when it ceases, that is the point of taking sannyas. It is not that, no, I'm frustrated with this world. No, sometimes people come to ISKCON saying that I'm frustrated with my life. No, I just want to take sannyas. So frustrated people cannot take sannyas. He has to be completely peaceful before he takes sannyas, right? So this is not that, anybody who gets frustrated, they get sannyas. Not like that. Okay. So, purport: the renounced order of life can be accepted when one has been purified by the discharge of prescribed form of duties which are laid down just to purify the hearts of materialistic men. Without purification, one cannot attain success by abruptly adopting the fourth order of life, that is sannyas. So, brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas. So, the fourth order of life is sannyas. According to the empirical philosophers, simply by adopting sannyas or retiring from fruitive activities, one at once becomes as good as Narayana. So this is like the Mayavadis, and understanding. Just by accepting sannyas, somebody becomes Narayana himself. So Vaishnava principle is Vaishnavas accept sannyas for becoming a better servant of Krishna, not to become Krishna. So, but Mayavadis, they try to become Krishna themselves. No, that's a problem. Okay, but Lord Krishna does not approve this principle. Without purification of heart, sannyas is simply a disturbance to the social order. On the other hand, if someone takes to the transcendental service of the Lord, even without discharging his prescribed duties, whatever he may be able to advance in the cause is accepted by the Lord, as Buddhi Yoga. Swalpamapi asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. Even a slight performance of such a principle enables one to overcome great difficulties. So here Prabhupada is telling that rather than accepting a sannyas of that nature, so here the sannyas that is talked about is called the karma sannyas. That means giving up the karmic activities. So karma sannyas means it is generally the Vaishnavas when they take sannyas, they don't take this sannyas. This is a different kind of a sannyas. So, this comes when a person is brahmachari, is trained in the brahmachari ashram, then he may get into grahastha ashram and live a family life. And at the right time, he should renounce the family life, and then he should do the vanaprastha, where husband and wife is still together, but then their goal is not sense gratification. They want to advance spiritually. So that life is called vanaprastha. That means literally in the literal sense, it is they go to vana. So they go to forest to perform tapasya and austerities. So in ISKCON, many vanaprasthas are there. So instead of going to forest, they apply themselves fully in the service of the Lord. So they serve in some temples. So in that way, and then after some time, the husband may choose to take sannyas. So that sannyas is for increasing the service of the Lord without any encumbrance. So, but then here the sannyas which is mentioned is called karma sannyas, which is a platform to start jnana yoga, or the jnana yoga process. So that is that is not very much necessary. In fact, it is mentioned in the scriptures that Ashwamedam Gavalambam Sanyasam Falapaitrikam Devarena Sutotpatti like Kalau Pancha Vivarjaye. So there are some elements which are prohibited in Kali Yuga, so which are Ashwamedha, that is the horse sacrifice, Gavalamba, so or Gomeda Yajnas, so where cows are given in sacrifice. So because these requires a very, very qualified brahmanas who can revive the life of these like cow and a horse back to a younger form, and help them in their progress also, and then the yajnas also are fulfilled. So, but then such kind of brahmanas are not there. So, Gavalamba and Ashwamedha, so they cannot be performed in Kali Yuga. And then Sannyasam, so that is also prohibited in Kali Yuga. So, Karma Sannyas, in the past, people were so qualified that everyone, after following this Varnashram system, come to the point of qualifying to sannyas, taking sannyas. But in Kali Yuga, it will not happen. So people will not be able to follow all these things. So in Kali Yuga, this karma sannyas, giving up the karmic activities, is not recommended. No, rather, a person should take up to the bhakti yoga process. So that is why here we see that this the karma yoga and jnana yoga is almost irrelevant in Kali Yuga. So nobody can follow all the principles of karma yoga, and nobody can follow all the principles of jnana yoga also. So it is very, very difficult. And as such, the jnana yoga's prerequisite, that is the karma sannyas, that has been prohibited in Kali Yuga. So it is literally not possible to perform in Kali Yuga, like Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga is literally not possible to perform. So that is why Prabhupada also takes the advantage to explain the principles of Bhakti Yoga in all the places, because that is what is essential, and that is what is we are expected to perform, right? And also, like the book's final goal of this Bhagavad Gita is also, this Bhakti Yoga. So in that way, like we can see that. So here Krishna is telling that, no, don't go for the sannyas, don't give up your work and run away to the forest. So you are a fighter, you will remain like this, and you are a kshatriya, and your mind will work like this. If you go to the forest and sit in tapasya, no, will your mind will work in a different way? No, it will not. So you cannot take sannyas. So that's what Krishna will come up to in this chapter. Okay, so it is a simply a disturbance if somebody takes up to sannyas without purification of heart. So rather than that, he should engage in devotional service of the Lord. Okay. And swalpamapi asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even a little bit of devotional service performed, it can, help us cross the greatest difficulty in this world. Right? So it is really, really very powerful. Text 5. Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarma krit karyate hi avashah karma sarvah prakritir jair gunaihi. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired from the modes of material nature. Therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. Very, very amazing sloka. Let's read the translation again. Everyone is forced to act helplessly according to the qualities he has acquired. What is his qualities? The three modes of nature. So, whatever modes of nature we have acquired, so we are helpless. We have to act on that platform. So I cannot say that I will not act in this way, I will not think in this way. It is not possible. No, we can just so many times people say, like, when they do a mistake or when they are found guilty, so they'll say, like, no, I'm very sorry, I'll not do this again. And then again they will do it, and then again they'll ask sorry, and again they will do it. So why they are doing like this? Because they are completely controlled by the modes of nature, and they don't have a freedom of choice. No, we are literally bound by the modes of nature, and we are dragged to do various things based on the modes of nature that we are conditioned with, right? So the in whichever mode of nature I am in, if I am in the mode of nature of ignorance predominantly, then I am a Shudra. So then there is prescribed duties for Shudras. So that will purify them, and that will that will strike a nice wavelength. The duties of a Shudra will strike a good wavelength with a person in the mode of ignorance, and the duties of Vaishya will strike a good resonance. No, it will resonate with a person who's in the mixed mode of passion and ignorance. And the duties of a Kshatriya will naturally resonate with a person who's predominantly in the mode of passion. And the duties of a Brahmana will naturally resonate with a person who's predominantly in the mode of goodness. So in that way, like no, a person should follow his natural propensities, and accordingly, Krishna is very merciful. Accordingly, he has given prescribed duties, and we should adopt those duties. And we should not feel jealous. Oh, this person, you see, like, no, he's no, it seems he's Kshatriya and he will administer, and I am a Shudra and I have to just simply work under him. So we should not think like that. If I have that kind of a nature, then I just simply accept. Even if I am given the position to do administration and control, I will utterly fail if I'm in mode of ignorance. So why to compete like that? So that is why there is No artificial competition is encouraged in the Vedic system. So sometimes people may say you are just cutting down the what is that inspiration of people. Like, no, people could advance, people could do this, people could do that, and you're just trademarking somebody, or no, it's like putting a seal on somebody saying he's a Shudra. So why are you doing like this? Because like he has acquired that kind of a nature. If he changes his modes of nature by his work, and like over a period of time, then he can be given a different kind of work. But if he has got a particular mode of nature, then he must work on that mode. And even if he tries not to, it is not possible, right? So, and how do we change the modes of nature? Karanam guna sangosya. So like by associating with a particular mode of nature, we will get the that particular mode. So now we saw, this may look contradictory, that if I am a person who's conditioned in mode of ignorance, then I will work in mode of ignorance. I should not try to work in mode of goodness. And to change the modes, I have to associate with mode of goodness. Then only I'll be able to get to the mode of goodness. So both of the things looks contradictory. That is why these prescribed duties are very, very amazingly set up. They just give us the next step, next level of what is that? Uh, if I'm completely in mode of ignorance, a little bit of goodness can actually help me to come to the next level. Too much of goodness, I'll go crazy. No, I'll not be able to do it. So if a person is in mode of ignorance, and you see like in mode of goodness, what does people do? They study for a long time, they contemplate, and then they teach people and things like that and all. So if you ask a person in mode of goodness to ignorance to do that, he will go to sleep. You know, at least if he is given some work, he will be active. But if you ask him to study and explain and things like that, he'll go to sleep. So it will not work out. So it will not work out for him. So there is a good combination of expert balance is required to raise people to the next modes of nature. And no, that is very effectively done by the prescribed duties that are mentioned as part of karma yoga. But then the duties in Krishna consciousness is even much more powerful. So the process of chanting and process of hearing about the Lord, so it is really very powerful. And then it can actually take a person to highest levels of consciousness, right? So that's what is done in the in bhakti yoga. Okay, so let's try to analyze this sloka more. And therefore, no one can refrain from doing something, not even for a moment. We cannot be idle, so we have to be working according to our modes of nature, even if we don't want to. Purport. If it is not a question of embodied life, but it is the nature of the soul to be always active. Without the presence of spirit soul, the material body cannot move. The body is only a dead vehicle to be worked by the spirit soul, which is always active and cannot stop even for a moment. As such, the spirit soul has to be engaged in the good work of Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it will be engaged in occupations dictated by the illusory energy. In contact with material energy, the spirit soul acquires material modes, and to purify the soul from such affinities, it is necessary to engage in prescribed duties enjoined in Shastras. But if the soul is engaged in this natural function of Krishna consciousness, whatever he is able to do is good for him. The Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.17 affirms this: Tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhujam harer bhajan nakpakvota ata patet tato yadi yatra kva va badra abudhamusyakim kovarta apto bhajatam swadharmatah. So here we see that it's a very important this one. No prescribed duties are mentioned, but if the soul is engaged in the natural function of Krishna consciousness, so we saw three things. One is um, we have got acquired a modes of nature, and we are working against the modes of nature, or we are doing some work which is not in sync with our modes of nature. So that is one. And second is the prescribed duties which are designed exactly to suit our modes of nature. And third is Krishna consciousness, direct engagement in the service of the Lord. Right? So now, first one though we should not do. So definitely we should not engage in an activity which is not in sync with my modes of nature. So materially. And then second one is It is little better, that is to work according to my modes of nature, as prescribed duties, material prescribed duties that are given in Karma Yoga. And third one is directly engage in the service of Krishna. So now this, when we are directly engaging in service of Krishna, so then I am giving up Swadharma, which is mentioned as prescribed duties, which is specially designed for my modes of nature. So then what will happen if I'm giving up that kind of work? So that is what is mentioned. Tyaktva. Tyaktva means to give up. Tyaktva Swadharmam Charanam Bhujam Harer. So like if I worship the Charana Ambuja, the lotus feet of the Lord, right? So if I give up my prescribed duties and then worship the lotus feet of the Lord, so then bhajanna apakvata, and I have given up my prescribed duties, and bhajanna apakva means I have not been able to do my Krishna consciousness is also in a very nice way. No, in there also I am apakva. So then what will happen to such a person? So then it is mentioned yatra kva va abhadram. No, yatra means in that kind of case, kva means what, no, abhadram. So what kind of inauspiciousness that can create? No, there is no inauspiciousness actually, because he has engaged in Krishna's service directly. That is the topmost activity. Even if he has given up his prescribed duties, it doesn't matter. No. And on the other hand, what is the use of him performing all the prescribed duties very nicely and not doing any Krishna consciousness? There is no point at all in that. So ultimate goal is to get back to the spiritual world, and that is, for that, Krishna consciousness is necessary. So this is not to say that we should not do prescribed duties. Definitely, if we are capable of to know and understand our modes of nature, and if we are able to be guided in like how to uh, follow my prescribed duties, it is well and good. Even if it is not there, just do Krishna consciousness, and we can cross over this ocean of material existence. In fact, this suits very nicely for people in Kali Yuga, because in people in Kali Yuga, first of all, the children are, we were not born out of proper samskaras. And when we are not born out of proper samskaras, we will not have the modes of nature so clear. It's all mixed, jumbled up. So the living entities in Kali Yuga are like quite jumbled up kind of people. You cannot classify them properly as Brahmanas or Kshatriyas or Vaishyas or Shudras. And it's very, very difficult to assign the prescribed duties. So it is better to follow the duty of this one, Krishna consciousness. So that's why Prabhupada is actually driving this whole discussion towards this direction. In fact, Srimad Bhagavatam says, Kaler dosha nide rajan, asti nekon mahan guna, kirtanadeva krishnasya mukta sangha param braje. So the conclusion of Bhagavatam in the 12th canto, it comes that Kaler dosha nidhi, this Kali Yuga is an ocean of faults. Everywhere it is faults. Right from our birth, everything is a fault only. So it is, if we carefully analyze according to the Vedic system, everything is a fault. So Kaler dosha nidhe rajan, hasti nekon mahan guna. Still there is one good quality that is there. So so that is Kirtana Deva Krishnasya. So just by performing Krishna Kirtan, Mukta Sangha Param Veje, we can actually get liberation from the bondage of material existence. Right? So let's read this. If someone takes to Krishna consciousness, even though he may not follow the prescribed duties in the Shastras or execute the devotional service properly, and even though he may fall down from the standard, there is no loss or evil for him. But if he carries out all the injunctions for purification in the Shastras, what does he avail if he is not Krishna conscious? Right? So the purificatory process is necessary for reaching this point of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, sannyasa or any purificatory process is to help reach the ultimate goal of becoming Krishna conscious, without which everything is considered a failure. So why Prabhupada is using this word purificatory process? So in Sanskrit, this is called sanskara. Sanskara means like we have the first sanskara is the Garbhadana samskar. So that is before the conception of child, the husband and wife, they observe this samskar so that they can invite a very nice soul into the family. So then we have many different samskars are there. So like there is Simanta, like we know that I think it is done on 7th or 8th month, that Simanta, this one is done. then this jata samskar, then jataka of the child is taken, then after that namakarana is a samskar, then upanayana is a samskar. So like that, till antyam samskar. Antyam samskar means one when a person is dead, no. So then there is what is performed as antyam samskar. So before that, there is sannyas is also one of the samskars. So these are all purificatory processes. No, this is all meant for purifying our existence. No, that is why it is called sanskar, right? So sannyas is also a purificatory process. And what is the goal of all these purificatory processes? That is Krishna consciousness. No, smartavyam satatam Vishnu, vismartavyam na jatuchit. Sarve vidhi nishedashu retayoreva kinkara. So that is the ultimate point, is that no smartavyam satatam Vishnu. Always remember Krishna or Vishnu. And vismartavyam, never forget. No, vismartavyam na jatuchit. At any point in time. Sarve vidhi, no, all vidhi and nished. Sarve vidhi nishedashur. Etayoreva kinkara. Kinkara means servant. No, all the rules and regulations are servant to this one principle of always remembering the Lord. So Krishna consciousness is the ultimate goal, and for that everything is constructed. So text 6, कर्मेन्द्रियाणि संयम्य या आस्ते मनसा स्मरन् इन्द्रियार्थान् विमूढात्मा मिथ्याचारस उच्यते. This is a nice sloka. It says, one who restrains the senses of action but whose mind dwells on the sense objects certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. That means he has, no, for the worldly sake, he has renounced everything, but then always he is thinking about sense objects. No, what kind of renunciation it is. So Krishna is telling mityachara sa uchyate. Mityachar means like pretender. No, he's a pretender. He's not a real sadhu. He's taken the dress of a sadhu, but then he is a pretender. He's not doing things properly. Right? Okay, purport. There are many pretenders who refuse to work in Krishna consciousness but make a show of meditation while actually dwelling within the mind upon the sense enjoyment. Such pretenders may also speak on dry philosophy in order to bluff sophisticated followers. But according to this verse, these are the greatest cheaters. For sense enjoyment, one can act in any capacity of the social order. But if one follows the rules and regulations of his particular status, he can make gradual progress in purifying his existence. Right? So, if at all I want sense enjoyment, then why should I take the renounced order? No. So there is so many this ones like so many opportunities are there to do sense gratification in the society. So, and if somebody says if somebody is properly functioning in the society like that, so then he will advance. No, by being a family man, and he will if he's following the prescribed rules and regulations there, he will definitely advance. But he has not got purified in his mind, and simply he takes sannyas, and no such kind of a pretension. No, why to take no such kind of a this one? If I at all want sense gratification, why not I be there in a proper social structure? And why should I renounce the world and simply be a pretender, right? So there is ample opportunity for sense gratification otherwise. So why to take dress of a sannyasi and then do sense gratification? That's very bad, right? Okay. So, but he who makes a show of being a yogi while actually searching for the object of sense gratification must be called the greatest cheater, even though he sometimes speaks of philosophy. His knowledge has no value because the effect of such a sinful man's knowledge are taken away by the illusory energy, maya apahanta jnana, right? Such a pretender's mind is always impure, and therefore his show of yogic meditation has no value whatsoever. Okay. So this is putting down all the pretender, sadhus and sannyasis, especially in Kali Yuga. A lot of them are there. So the market is filled with them. Who doesn't want to follow whatever Krishna has told in Bhagavad Gita, whatever is told in Srimad Bhagavatam, and whatever is told in the scriptures. They just simply want to speculate and do something on their own. Every institution, every spiritual institution has their own philosophy, and nobody wants to follow what Vyasadeva has given, what Krishna has given. Simply they just want to do whatever they want. So what to speak about them? Okay, text 7. Estvendriyani manasa niyamyar bahate arjuna karmendriya karma yogam ashakta savishishyate. On the other hand, if a sincere person tries to control the active senses by the mind and begins karma yoga in Krishna consciousness without attachment, he is by far superior. Right, so we are in the sloka number 7. Instead of becoming a pseudo transcendentalist for the sake of wanton living and sense enjoyment, it is far better to remain in one's own business and execute the purpose of life, which is to get free from the material bondage and enter into the kingdom of God. The prime Swartagati, or the goal of self interest, is to reach Vishnu. Nate viduhu Swartagatim ki Vishnu. Right? The whole institution of Varna and Ashrama is designed to help us reach this goal of life. A householder can also reach this destination by regulated service in Krishna consciousness. For self realization, one can live a controlled life as prescribed in the Shastra and continue carrying out his business without attachment, and in that way make progress. A sincere person who follows this method is far better situated than the false pretender who adopts show bottle spiritualism to cheat the innocent public. A sincere sweeper in the street is far better than the Charlton meditator who meditates only for the sake of making a living. Right? So it is one's vritti should be very very pure, and vritti means one's occupation should be very pure and very honest. No, uh, we should not become like a pretender. So rather we be we be wherever we are according to our consciousness and according to our capacity, and then sincerely and seriously execute Krishna consciousness. Right, so that is very important. No, externals doesn't matter whether a person is a grahastha or a sannyasi. It doesn't matter how intensely we are practicing Krishna consciousness. That is what is matters. Okay, so even Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says grahetako vanetako sada hari boledako. So whether you stay at home or you stay in the forest as a sannyasi, or you are renounced the home, so whatever may be the case, no, intensely practice Krishna consciousness. That is the no goal. That's what is expected. Text 8. Niyatam kuru karmatvam karma ja, karma जायो हि अकर्मणः शरीर यत्रापि छथे न प्रसिद्धेत अकर्मणः. Perform your prescribed duty, for doing so is better than not working. One cannot even maintain one's physical body without work. So here Krishna is thoroughly discouraging sannyas, and then he's telling, please get engaged in your prescribed duty. There are many pseudo meditators who misrepresent themselves as belonging to high parentage and great professional men, who falsely post that they have sacrificed everything for the sake of advancement in spiritual life. Lord Krishna did not want Arjuna to become a pretender. Rather, the Lord desired that Arjuna perform his prescribed duties as set forth for Kshatriyas. Arjuna was a householder and a military general, and therefore it was better for him to remain as such and perform his religious duties as prescribed for the householder Kshatriya. Such activities gradually cleanse the heart of a mundane man and free him from material contamination. So called renunciation for the purpose of maintenance is never approved by the Lord, nor by any religious scripture. After all, one has to maintain one's body and soul together by some work. Work should not be given up capriciously without purification of materialistic propensities. Anyone who is in the material world is certainly possessed of impure propensities for lording it over material nature, or in other words, for sense gratification. Such polluted propensities have to be cleared. Without doing so, through the prescribed duties, one should never attempt to become a so called transcendentalist, renouncing work and living at cost of others. So here it's very nicely mentioned that renunciation is only meant for those people who are completely purified in their consciousness, and their goal is to attain the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. And such people can renounce, where they don't have a doubt or any wavering in their consciousness about this doubt, such people actually can live in the renounced order of life. And uh, no, it is the duty of the renounced order of people to accept charity, and in that way they purify the the people in general, and also they are very, very highly advanced. They use every bit of the charity in the service of the Lord. So in that way they become an agent of purification. But then if somebody sees that, oh, this sannyasi is getting so much of donations and things like that, so if I become a sannyasi, then I can make a lot of money. Oh, then this is not the purpose for which he has taken sannyas. That is just an incidental thing that no, it just it is just the he is just doing it as a service. A pure sannyasi is just doing it as a service to accept charity and use it in Krishna's service, and not to use even a bit for sense gratification, right? So, but if a person who's not purified in his consciousness, if he takes to that order, he will just simply accept karma from people, and he will fall down to the deepest well of lowest species. No, because charity means like people are giving their karma. No, so if we get money, then we get their karma also. So then, if a person is not very strong enough to handle that, he will just fall. Just by accepting charity from people, he will just fall to the deepest well of karmic reactions. Okay, so I'm thinking, no, we can stop here. So we have discussed 8 slokas of this chapter. It's very, very nice. The initial chapters of Bhagavad Gita gives a very wide range of understanding of the Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and things like that. And then, Prabhupada gives a very, very good um, aspect of Bhakti Yoga in all of them, so that we will not be disturbed by by understanding about this Karma Yoga and Jnana Yoga, which is quite impractical in this age of Kali. So it's very, very fortunate to have Srila Prabhupada's commentaries, and then we are able to study Srila Prabhupada's commentaries, and becoming more, as and when we read these commentaries of Srila Prabhupada, we get more and more faith in the process of Krishna consciousness. We get more and more faith that Krishna exists, and devotional service to Krishna is the only thing that we have to perform, and this is the topmost thing that we can perform. And no, really, that conviction actually increases in our heart. So that's the speciality of Srila Prabhupada's purport, which is giving us full enthusiasm to practice Krishna consciousness. Okay, so with this, we'll stop for today. Thank you all very much for joining. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.